I'm going to combine a couple of the Shore Living items together. One of the little Shore Living signs. What I want off that is that galvanized metal word that says beach. So I'm going to try to just remove that with some heat and my little Cricut spatula. Trying not to like rip the paper or cause any damage to the sign. And we got that off. Now, I do want to use the sign though. This is a Shore Living sign. Doesn't matter which one, because we're going to cover it with one of their little canvases that they also have in the Shore Living line. They have this one again this year. They also have different ones. You can kind of go with whichever one you like the best. I love crafting with these little canvases. I always like to kind of remove them from the canvas and DIY them into something a little bit more finished than an framed canvas. I'm just trying to, I started with like staples, just trying to remove that. And then I was like, it might be even easier just to try to cut it off. So that's what I did mostly, is just use my razor blade and try to cut that off the back of the frame. Kind of a combination of that and my pliers. And then I realized my box cutter actually did a better job of popping those staples out than my pliers. Just want to free it, but I also didn't want to cause any damage on the sides because I want to frame this out with that Dollar Tree Shore Living sign. And so I need as much fabric with that pattern on there as I can, because the canvas was definitely smaller than the photo or the frame. So I'm going to start trimming this down to size, cutting off that back part with the staple holes and the white. And then kind of measuring to see exactly how big I need this canvas to be. And then I'm just going to use the frame for a guide and my razor blade and start cutting this down to size. Basically, it was like I needed all of it except for the very back part. So you can kind of like just cut along the fold for the very back part. That's why I was kind of glad that I did not mess with the sides at all, because I definitely needed them to fill up the frame. And this is just a great way to frame one of these cheap little canvases from the Dollar Tree very inexpensively. And I also have that galvanized metal beach word that will be really fun as well. Now, I was kind of worried that you were going to be able to see this through the canvas. I'm not sure if you really could, but just in case, I'm just going to go over the whole thing with some white just to kind of give myself a blank canvas, just some white acrylic. It can be as crazy as possible, doesn't really matter. Just trying to mask that, because sometimes when I Mod Podge stuff on, you can see through it. And that's what we're going to do, is just attach it with Mod Podge. I'm going to do like a rather thick layer of the Dollar Tree Mod Podge. Doesn't matter which one you use. You're not going to be able to see it. We're just using it for the glue. And then we're going to lay our canvas on the frame and smooth it down. Now, you could try ironing it from the back maybe to get those wrinkles out. I'm trying to like just smooth it down the best that I can with some baby wipes. And that also cleans up any Mod Podge that might be like kind of pouring out the sides. I was able to get it down pretty smooth, but I am going to decorate it a little bit as well. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, you might want to iron it, because there definitely was some wrinkles in it when you do this method. I just made sure that all of my corners were like really glued down and that this was going to stay on there. I also just used my scraper too. And then I kind of wanted just to finish off the edges, just because my cuts were not completely perfect. And I thought that the jute twine would give it another little coastal touch. This is that thicker jute twine that I get at Walmart by the roll. But you could kind of use whatever you have. I like this because it's thicker than most of them that I find at Dollar Tree. And then it is a little rough though, so I'm just burning off all the fuzzies on those. I cut one down for each side, and then we can just attach those to kind of frame it out a little bit. They'll kind of sit inside the little wood frame, but also cover up the seams of our painting. I do go over the whole thing with another coat of matte Mod Podge just to make sure it stays down. And I didn't want this going anywhere. I may have excessively Mod Podged it down, but it turned out really good. And so now I'm just going to do a bead of hot glue along the top edge and just put that jute twine in there. And that definitely covered up my seam. Little trick you can do when something looks a little imperfect like that. And anytime you can use rope or jute or anything like that, it's going to give you another little coastal touch to your DIY. Just one side at a time, just gluing those down. And it's already looking a little bit better. Now here is the little beach word that we took off the sign. I don't want it to be the galvanized metal. I kind of want mine to kind of look like driftwood. So I mix a little ivory paint with some Antique Wax by Waverly to give me this pretty like tan color. And I am just going to paint it working in one direction, kind of giving it like a little bit of a wood grain. It's okay if some of the metal shows through. It's going to make it look even more like coastal. And now we can glue this back to the canvas or to the picture frame, this time with a beach canvas in between. And I think this looks a lot better than it originally did. I love this painting of the beach. It totally looks like the beach here in Vero Beach. Now, the hanger was like not straight at all on this. I'm not sure what they did when they were putting this on. So we're just gonna remove this and do our own thing. I have this little sawtooth hanger that I pulled off the canvas. And so we'll just use it instead. These are great because you can just nail them into the frame. No little tiny screws or anything like that to try to mess with. Now, this is the decoration part I was saying that might cover up like the little fold there in the bottom, the little wrinkle. I'm just going to use Dollar Tree seashells, and we're just going to hot glue those all along the bottom. I try to pick out like a variety of shells and colors. You can find some really good seashells from the Dollar Tree, but you can always use the ones that you have from the beach. I really tried to choose some unique ones to kind of fill it all up. And it's going to give you a fun little decoration for a little beach sign. Now, I took those 2 items from the Dollar Tree. So, like, very inexpensive way to DIY this. And then I have that Market Pantry bag that we used for the shadow box. I'm just going to cut out some more of that fishnet just to kind of get another little decoration for our little beach side. And I like to use the pink part too for Valentine's Day, for coastal like Valentine's Day. And I'm going to kind of drape it along the side on this one as well. I think that looks kind of cool, and it provides a fun little finishing touch to this DIY. Just going to hot glue it here on the back. Just kind of swag it down the side. Isn't that cute and beachy? I love how this turned out. It's one of my favorites. The painting is nice and bright, and they have so many different styles. I think I have like maybe 6 beach paintings, all completely different. And this is how it turned out. This is how it looks hanging in my dining room.